initial 2 days, perhaps we'll spend more time on.
So you stopped screen share.
Screen sharing, so yes.
So I also noticed how it is stopped screen share. Okay. Yeah, so we'll spend a couple of days on potentiometer, and afterwards we'll spend time on power consumption in electrical circuits. And next week we'll go to RC circuit, which is a combination of resistance as well as capacitance. If both are connected connected to battery and in electrical circuit, what happens? So let's start with topic of potentiometer. And potentiometer we have to think just like a circuit. It's an electrical circuit, of course, with the battery and resistance. That's all. And to understand potentiometer, we'll divide into two parts. One is called primary circuit, and then later on we'll see what is there in the secondary circuit. So typically what happens in most cases, primary circuit will remain same, secondary circuit will keep on changing. Let's understand what is a primary circuit. Primary circuit, as we see here, there's a battery here, okay, and we can call it E or E or not. There's a battery here, and it is connected to a resistance which could be typically it is connected to a variable resistance which can be changed, and it is connected to a long resistance wire AB. Unlike meter bridge, this length of the wire could be 4 meter, 5 meter, 10 meter. So it doesn't mean it is on a straight path. It can be run like this also. The wire is bent around and it is run like this, but length of the wire is made longer. Longer the wire is, better the sensitivity is, smaller value also we can measure. So when you look at the circuit here, typically the circuit will have a battery and two resistances. What you can do, we can look at one is resistance of the potentiometer wire and rest of the resistance. Rest of the resistance could be internal resistance of the battery as well as additional resistance, variable resistance connected to the battery. In this case, I have taken both the things as small r. We can use any notation. But what we have to understand, what does the RP indicate? Resistance of the potentiometer wire and rest of the resistance. Rest of the resistance is small r and this is a battery. Where are the resistances? The red color only indicates resistance and lead wire we assume has negligible resistance. So this is the primary circuit. It is extremely simple circuit here, no complication. And in case of primary circuit, if we have to find, there's some term called potential gradient, which is one of the important terms to understand potentiometer. We'll first focus on understanding potential gradient, what the term indicates, what the term means, and what the term signifies. So if this is a circuit given, finding current is easy. What is the current? Current is equal to EMF divided by total resistance. Both are connected in series. So this is resistance of the potentiometer and rest of the resistance in the circuit. That's a current. No problem at all. If we have to calculate, once we have current, can we calculate potential difference across potentiometer wire? Resistance is R. We can calculate potential difference between point A and B. That's called potential difference across potentiometer wire. That would be equal to current times RP, or we can tell this EMF is divided in that proportion. RP divided by the total resistance. RP divided by RP plus R. That's the potential difference. So any circuit, if these things are given, very easily can calculate potential difference. If length of the wire is L, this length of the wire is L, the potential gradient is called, as the term suggests, potential gradient. What is potential per unit length? So if I, for potentiometer wire, potential gradient will be equal to V by L if potentiometer wire is uniform. The potential gradient also is a uniform quantity, is constant. So yes, Asha, any question?
Sir, is potential gradient equals to field, sir?
Yes, in this case that would be field, but here actually we are not concerned with the field. Potential gradient is field. So here also, what will the field inside the wire when we have potential gradient? Yes, that's the field. Okay. So yes, good question. It's a field only. So potential gradient calculation, it's pretty simple. All are clear what is potential gradient in the potentiometer wire. We calculate potential difference divided by its length becomes potential gradient. Okay, so once what we understand here, potential gradient is phi. So if we take 2 points, what is the potential gradient between 2 points which are at a distance L apart? If I take any 2 points on the potentiometer wire, suppose I take 1 point here and another point here, and the distance between these 2 points is equal to L. Which point will have higher potential if I call this point as A and this point as B? Which point will have higher potential? The one which is nearer to the positive terminal. A is higher potential. As we go from A to B, potential is dropping. So A will have higher potential compared to B. And if I take the length, distance between them is L. Potential difference between them will be equal to phi, potential gradient into length. So if I take another set of point, which also has at a distance of L, what will the potential difference between these two? It's also the potential difference will equal to phi into L. So any part of the potentiometer wire, if I take of a given length, anywhere we take, the potential difference will be equal. If what condition potential difference remains equal? The potentiometer wire is a uniform wire. Resistance per unit length is same, and hence the potential difference also same. So calculation of potential gradient, calculate current, calculate potential difference, divide by length, we get potential gradient. Once we have potential gradient in the wire, potential difference between any 2 points. If the distance between 2 points is known, potential difference also can be, potential difference is equal to pi into distance between any 2 points on the potentiometer wire. So once we have potential gradient, we can find potential difference between any 2 points separated by distance L on the potentiometer wire. And in this case, as long as this current I remains constant, if we do not change the current I, it depends on I. So potential difference, if I does not change, potential gradient also does not change. What can change I? If we change the battery or there's a variable resistance, if we change the resistance, what will happen? Potential gradient will change. Until we change this resistance, potentiometer wire is a constant. Unless if we change this resistance or the battery, potential gradient will change. Until then, if the current remains same, potential gradient remains constant. These are very simple points, and some of you might think also, what is there to explain? That's so simple. So this is something. Okay, let's try and understand a potential gradient in terms of some more example. Suppose it is given the resistance to which battery is connected. It's half the resistance of the potentiometer resistance. If R is equal to Rp by 2. Can we calculate potential gradient here? It's pretty simple. So in that case, what will the potential difference across A and B? If this is given, how do we calculate potential gradient? First, we calculate potential difference between A and B. Potential difference across A and B, I could have divided the potential, or I can calculate current into resistance. Rp, this is what we have come across previous case. So potential difference, if this resistance is half the resistance of the potentiometer wire, the potential difference between A and B will be equal to 2/3 of the EMF. So 2 by 3 E will be the potential difference. And if I divide by L, that becomes the potential gradient. If I write L in centimeters, it will come, potential gradient will come into volts per centimeter. If I take L in meters, it will come in volts per meter. Depending on what unit I use for length, accordingly potential gradient will vary. So calculation of potential gradient is pretty straightforward. Similar way, can you tell me what will the potential gradient if R is equal to Rp? If resistance is increased, earlier it was R, or earlier it was Rb type. We had doubled this resistance. We made it equal to the resistance of the potentiometer wire. So previous case, potential gradient was 2E by 3L. What would be new potential gradient? All of you calculate. Let me ask some of you.
Sir, why are we concerned about potential gradient, sir?
See, why are we concerned? First thing, let's understand why it is. Only thing, once we have potential gradient, if I know the value of phi. So if distance between 2 points is known, I know the potential difference. I don't have to use a voltmeter. I know in advance what the potential difference is. Once I know the potential gradient, I know the potential difference.
Okay, so if we connect that part.
So we'll see that. We'll see come to the application later. Yes, Vignesh, you have any question?
Sir, this is applicable only when the wire is uniform, right, sir?
Yes, of course. I have repeated a number of times. Yes, it is only in case of wire is uniform. If wire is not uniform, will change. If it is uniform, wire is uniform, then only it is valid. Okay, potential difference will be constant. If R is equal to Rp, again easy. Potential difference becomes E by 2, and potential gradient becomes equal to E by 2, E by 2L. Potential difference becomes E by 2, and potential gradient is E by 2L. So what we notice here, as we increase R, what is happening? As we increase R, Proportion of potential drop here is increasing, potential drop here is decreasing. So by increasing the external R here, potential gradient decreases. As R increases, phi decreases, which is a pretty simple. If we understand basic electric circuit, this point is easily can be inferred or easily can be deducted. So this we'll come to this point. What is the use? Whether it is for certain purpose. Find potential gradient. In this case, all of you can find what is the value of potential gradient in terms of volts per meter. Can you all easily find? All of you find the potential gradient, and then I'll ask some of you. You should have your answer ready. It should take about maximum minute to find what the potential gradient is. Not even minute actually. So all of you can calculate potential gradient. Akshat?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me what is potential gradient here.
RP by.
Do we need to use formula? Can you do without formula also, Akshat? This is 10 volts. This resistance 2, this resistance is 8. What will potential get? How the potential gets divided between two resistances? In which proportion? 8 by 10, 2 by 10.
Yes, sir.
What is potential difference between A and B? How many volts? Potential difference between A and B, either you can do step by step. You can find the current here. Current will be simply 1 ampere. If current is 1 ampere, potential difference between A and B is 8 volts.
8 volts.
Length is 5. 8 by 5. If I have to do in volts per meter, 8 by 5 is my potential gradient.
Yes, sir.
Potential difference is 8. Potential gradient, if I write 1.6, if I divide by 100, 0.016 volt per centimeter.
0.01.
So it's easy. Everybody can easily calculate. So potential gradient is easy, but thus important to understand potentiometer. And just to make you a little more alert, typically you ask anybody in second year, they say which topic you have doubt. Most cases they say they have doubt with potentiometer. It's a fairly simple topic, so let's make sure that we study. Yes, Akash.
Sir, in the first one, we took R as a variable resistor, right? Why?
Basically, what is R here? I am taking R is a resistance which can be varied. This is something. Varied means what? I said that's why we can change it. Most cases, what is connected here is a rheostat is connected here. But until I change the rheostat position, for a particular setting, resistance will remain constant. Does this statement make sense? For a particular setting, the resistance, this R resistance will remain constant. But later on, if I wish to change the potential gradient, can I change the potential gradient? What are the ways I can change potential gradient for a given potentiometer?
You can change the battery or the resistance. Variable resistance.
If it is a variable resistance like a rheostat, I don't have to change the resistor. What I have to do, I have to just shift the position of the contact point in the rheostat. That's what we call is a variable resistance. Akash, are you clear what I'm saying now?
Yes, sir.
It's a variable resistance. For a given setting, once I set it up, it remains a constant until I change it. So here it is given as a constant value. This is true, and if I change, it will change. Potential gradient will change. So point on the left side, anything on the, if I take 2 points, point on the left side will have higher potential compared to point on the right hand side. Okay. Let's set simple numericals based on this. Okay, let's try and solve the simple questions. All of you try and solve on your own, and then we'll go do it together. This I picked up from book. There itself there's a spelling mistake, but that's okay. So this is not based on that formula. What is given here? Current is given. Can we all calculate potential gradient? How many you can do it? Potential gradient is 7.5 volts per meter. So what does it mean? If I take a wire of length, part of potentiometer wire, what length I take? If I take L is equal to 1 meter, yes, and this is a longer wire, and current flowing is 1 ampere. So many of you can easily calculate current flowing is 1 ampere. Potential gradient is 7.5 volts, mean potential difference here in 1 meter length of wire will be equal to 7.5 volts. What I need to find, this is what is given. In 1 meter length of potentiometer wire, having current equal to 1 ampere, potential drops by 7.5 volts. What I need to find, resistivity. Where from the resistivity has come? It's a basically simple application of Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? V is equal to IR. And in terms of, since it is resistivity and cross section is given, I write resistance in terms of resistivity, rho L by A. So this is the equation we apply to this piece of wire. If we substitute all the values, V is equal to 7.5. Current is given as 1 ampere. Rho is what we need to find. L is equal to 1 meter. And what is area? Area is 4 centimeter square. So 4 centimeter square is 10 to the power minus 4 meters square. So do we get the value of rho here? Yes, we can easily calculate the value of rho. Anyone who has not understood, please raise your hand. Anybody else who has not understood? If anybody is not following, at least if you don't ask doubts, what you can do? Akshit, you not understood? Akshit, have you understood?
Sir, not clear, sir.
Not clear. Okay. What does potential gradient mean, Akshit? Potential gradient is 7.5 volts per meter. It means in 1 meter length of the wire, how much potential will drop by?
7.5.
7.5 meter. So this is what here it is. If I take 1 meter length of the wire, potential difference will be equal to 7.5 volts when the current is 1 ampere. This part is clear, Akshay?
Yes, sir.
So this wire also has resistance. So if voltage is given, current is given, can I apply Ohm's law? V is equal
Yes.
to IR.
Yeah.
And what is the sense we have to find resistivity? In terms of R, I write resistance in terms of physical dimensions and resistivity. R is equal to rho into L by A.
Okay.
Now the rest of the substitution, V is 7.5 volts, current is given, rho is given. Since everything I'm using SI unit, so length also in SI unit 1 meter. I'm applying it to this piece of resistance, and area of cross section 4 into 10 to the power minus 4. It is given centimeter square. We convert into meter square. So we get the value of rho. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Everybody? It's a pretty simple thing. Let's understand. That's what it means. And okay. So this is a fairly simple question. Let's look at some more of them. Okay, potential gradient. Something like this. See, there's something called, in IP also this question comes. What is the principle of potentiometer? IP preparation we'll do it last, but I'm just going through the principle of potentiometer. Which principle the potentiometer works on? That's a statement we use for defining principle of potentiometer. When a constant current is passed through a wire of uniform cross section, then the potential drop across any part of the wire is directly proportional to its length. So let's see that one. When the constant pass through a uniform cross section, then potential drop across any part of the wire is directly proportional to its length. And IP they ask for proof. Let's go through the proof also here. What is the proof? We have done partly already. Let's see. Let the same thing. This figure, if this comes in IP, we'll draw this figure. But the ends of the potentiometer RB is connected to battery of EMF E, and internal resistance is R, and we have added one more resistance R here also. There's external resistance, there's internal resistance of battery, and the potentiometer. All this combination are here. Okay. So in this case, what is the current? Can we calculate current through the wire? Yes, we apply Kirchhoff loop rule. We can find the current. Current will be equal to EMF of the battery divided by the effective resistance in the circuit, which is sum of all the resistances together. That's the current I. So what is a potential drop across a portion of length of a wire of length L? So this is potential difference across the entire length. Okay. And current flowing through is I. So if we have to calculate potential drop across a wire of length L, so first what we do, we calculate resistance of the wire of length L. Resistance of wire length is equal to rho L by E. This potential drop will be equal to current into resistance. And what we find here, say, so potential drop, I is constant. If I is constant, this is the potential drop. is this potential drop. This is potential drop. If current is constant, this term is constant, this term is constant, this term is constant. Sorry, I should have written this. What does this imply? It implies that potential drop is proportional to L. So this what that this is a proof of principle of potentiometer. As you notice, in which condition? Constant current and uniform wire. Okay. What it is used for? Let's see its application. Let's say this something. So again, we go to this application and let's see. It can be used to find the EMF of a battery. Let's see how do you find EMF of battery. You have a primary setup, and it can have internal resistance, it can have external resistance. Sometimes this could be zero, this could be zero also, and this could be non-zero. So we have taken most general case. In the general case, battery has some internal resistance R, and this connected to some external resistance also R, and potentiometer wire has resistance RP. This is a primary circuit. When we have primary circuit, in this case, do we know what is the potential gradient here?
Yes,
We
sir.
calculate potential gradient here. If you have to calculate, what will the potential gradient? Potential gradient will be equal to RP
RP by R plus RP into L.
E by L.
into E by L. So it's extremely easy to calculate. And until I change any of this term, until this current changes, the potential gradient remains constant. So this is a primary circuit we have set up. Now let's see how do you find EMF of battery. Now this is a battery E1. Let's see. This is secondary circuit. What is this called? This whole thing is called secondary circuit, and this is what we need to understand. So in this secondary circuit, what is connected? This is the battery for which I need to find EMF. This is E1. Right now it is unknown. What we do? A positive terminal of the battery is connected to the end A of the potentiometer wire. So positive terminal battery of EMF E1, which is unknown, is connected to one end of the potentiometer wire. Which end? Same end A to which a primary circuit battery positive terminal is connected, not other way around. Positive terminal is connected to which end? End A, which is also connected to positive terminal of battery in the primary circuit. Okay. Then other terminal. So this one side is connected to A. Other terminal, this is internal resistance R. Other terminal is connected to a jockey to a galvanometer. You recall what is called jockey mean?
Yeah, it's like a
Sliding
It's a
contact.
Sliding contact.
sliding contact is like a knife point-like contact. It touches wire only at one point. It doesn't have a flat contact. So we
Sharp
can
contact.
precisely identify the point where it is touching a wire. So other terminal is connected to jockey to a galvanometer G. So when we connect here, what happens? It becomes how many circuits now? There are two loops now. There's a primary circuit, upper part, and there's a secondary circuit. What we do here also, we find a balanced condition. What do you think would be the balanced condition?
current will be zero.
Current will be zero. What we do, how do we get a balanced condition? Balance point is obtained by sliding the jockey on the wire AB. What we do, we keep shifting this here, jockey here and there, until we come to a point where we find the current through galvanometer has become zero. That's called the balance point. And let's see, the balancing length is L1. Where's the balancing point? We can find the balancing length is L1. I hope everyone is clear. Anyone not clear about what is balanced point is? Primary circuit, and that's a secondary circuit. And Alad, any doubt you have?
Sir, I didn't understand why the current would be zero.
Why would current be zero? If is it possible for current to become zero? See, if there's a galvanometer here. If I keep sliding, the reading in galvanometer will keep changing. If the current increases, deflection becomes more. If current decreases, the current becomes less, and so on and so forth. Let's, for the time being, let's assume I find a point when the current becomes zero. We will understand if the current has become zero. Now we'll come to that logic explanation also. So let's say we have found a point. I'll come to the later when we will not be able to find that point. So by sliding it across, I have found a point. What I find, I don't know why it has become zero. I found it has become zero. That's what I say. I don't know why it has become zero. But what I find, I have found a point where it has become zero. What does zero deflection mean?
Terminal voltage is equals to the potential drop.
You are jumping, you are dumping. So this is zero means what is the current in this part? This part current is 0. Does it mean what is the current in this piece of wire? Current is 0. If this piece of wire current is 0, what is the current in this piece of wire?
It'll also be 0, right?
That also has to be 0. Otherwise, no challenge, it will current will keep accumulating. So
potential
balance
drop
condition
of-
means what? Both the lead wires, which is connecting to the second circuit, both current is 0. Let me try and understand why the current has become 0. So if the current has become 0, is the law Kirchhoff loop rule valid? Yes, it is valid. I can apply loop rule in two ways. Either I can take a loop, start a loop from A to J and go like this and calculate potential change equal to 0. Or other way I can apply, as I'm mentioning, if I take potential difference between point A and G, which point will have higher potential? A will have higher potential or J will have higher potential? A will have higher potential. Now when the current is 0 and 0, do you think this current I which was flowing earlier would have changed?
That won't change.
It won't change. It is nothing is happening. No transfer is taking place. So this primary circuit remains as it is. So current I will remain same. Potential gradient also will remain same. So I can calculate potential difference between point A and J along with two paths. One path is from A to J. Other path is from here like this. Both ways, if I calculate potential difference between point A and J, should come equal. So if I take potential difference from between A and J along this path, Akshay, can you tell me what is the potential difference between point A and J in terms of phi? What is potential difference between point A and J? Priya, can you tell me potential difference between point A and J? Priya? Are you all there? Yeah, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is potential difference between point A and J?
Yeah.
No idea? Okay, Nishita, what is potential difference between point A and J? And if you don't know, they say, I know, don't know, no problem. Nishita, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the potential difference between point A and J? Can you tell me which point will have a higher potential? Between A and J, A will have higher potential or J will have higher potential?
A will have higher
Okay,
potential.
so this is the disconnect to battery. Current is flowing like this. So as we current flows, the potential keeps dropping. What is potential difference between A and J, Nishita?
Phi by L1.
Phi by L1 or phi into L1?
Oh, sorry, 5 into L1.
So one way I can write from here to here if I go, I know because this wire potential keeps dropping and this potential drop is phi into L1. So this is potential drop along this path. Now, if I go along this path, it is independent of path. This path also potential difference drop should be same. From A to J, rather than saying potential difference, I am saying potential drop. Why I am using the potential drop? The potential is decreasing. So from A to J, potential drop is phi L1 from this path. Nichita, can you also tell me as I go from here to here, as I cross this battery, will the potential drop will be how much?
E1.
When I cross this resistance, what will the further potential drop?
0.
0 because
Why
current
it
is 0.
No current,
Current is 0.
So what I find potential drop between A and J along this path. I also follow along this path. Even though this
E1 equals to
resistance,
phi
no IR term will come because this current is 0, this current is 0. Anywhere in this branch, current is 0. Hence, there's no potential drop here. In fact, galvanometer also had resistance, but even there also current is 0. The potential difference is 0. So what I have done in primary circuit and secondary circuit, when the secondary circuit is connected in balanced state, there is no current between the primary and the secondary circuit. The current and hence the potential gradient in the primary circuit remains unchanged. Is this well understood? What does this sentence imply?
Sir,
Yes.
so what if the battery is connected in the opposite sense now?
Opposite
The
sense,
second-
we cannot get a balance point. Balance point, what will happen? This point is higher potential, this point is at a lower potential. If I connect
Yes.
other way around, suppose I connect battery like this.
There'll
What
be
will happen?
current
In this
flow.
loop, potential will rise, here potential will fall. Can they ever be equal? No, it cannot come in.
Okay.
So
Are you
what
got it?
will-
Very fine. So when would current not flow? When the potential difference between these 2 points, I'm connecting 2 points. Suppose this one point here and another point here. if I connect these 2 points, only the current will not flow only when the potential difference between these 2 points is same as potential difference between those 2 points. Does it make sense now? Alar?
Yes, sir.
So when does current not flow? Whichever 2 points I am connected to in the secondary circuit, primary circuit, potential difference between 2 points, this point being higher, same as potential difference between these 2 points, which being higher, this being higher. Then only the current will not flow. That's a condition for current not to flow. Shreya, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I'm sorry I previously couldn't answer. I thought you were calling Akshaya.
Okay, no problem. It doesn't matter. Say end of the day,
I didn't
by end
understand.
of the day, you understand, that's good enough. But there's something, and if you
Yes.
are not following, there's no harm in saying that you are not following. There's something we are not in a rush. We can easily spend little time and understand. Even those who understand or understood also, one more repetition will not harm them much. So what you understood, have you understood this statement well? Does
Yes.
this make sense? In balanced state, what is balanced state? When how would I find balanced state? I find balanced state by sliding the jockey. If my setup is right, I may find a point. If setup is wrong, it may happen, I check all the points, nowhere I find a balance point. Here I am able to find a balance point. Balance point, this current becomes 0, voltmeter reading is 0, as this current also 0. I can say balance state, there's no current flowing between primary and the secondary circuit. As the circuit, phi will remain same, phi doesn't change. Phi into L1 is equal to 1. How did I obtain that one? By applying Kirchhoff loop rule. I could have applied Kirchhoff loop rule, or I am applying potential difference between 2 points is independent of the path. So potential drop from A to J along this path is equal to potential drop between A and J along this path. So what do I get? E1 is equal to phi L1. And if I know all these terms here, do I find EMF? Yes. Do you notice this method is better than a voltmeter? Anybody notices why this method of measuring EMF is better than voltmeter method?
Voltmeter can draw current if it's not ideal.
Yes, this one in this case, we are measuring EMF without actually any current flowing through the battery. That's the advantage of this method, and that's why this method is superior.
We'll get more accurate reading.
It just so basically it gives a true value of EMF. No current is drawn. What happens if EMF E1 is greater than E? If I connect that,
Find a balancing point.
we will not be able to find the balancing. What has to happen? See, in that case, potential gradient between entire length A to B is this. So what has to happen? This potential, this EMF has to be equal to EMF between potential difference between A and J. If E1 is greater than E, the potential drop between A and B itself is less than E1. If potential drop between A and B is less than E1, we will not be able to find the balancing point. When would it not be balancing point? When E1 is greater than E. We have already seen what happens. We connect other way around. If you connect like this also, there will not be any balance point. Yes, Akash. Any question?
Sir, why do we need the R resistor, sir?
Which one? Which R resistance? Sir?
Primary circuit.
In primary circuit, see, this we connect this resistance only to change the potential gradient.
Okay.
Suppose, let's see, suppose this battery is, I have a 20 volt battery setup here. And I want to measure EMF of a battery which is 0.1 volt.
So we need more potential.
So what will happen? See, if I have a setup when R is close to 0, okay, this length will become very small. You understand? See, we ideally what we want, if you understand experiments better, accuracy is better when this comes up, when reading is not too small. See, you have seen a weighing machine, railway station, you go to weighing machine, which can measure weight up to 1000 kg. If you want to measure your weight on a weighing machine, which can measure up to 1000 kg, or you go to a weigh bridge, which measures the weight of a truck, will it give you accurate reading?
No, it's round off.
So when it is drop is 20 volts from here to here, and I want to measure EMF of battery is only 0.1 volt, so it is come very near to this point. It's like taking the weight of a person on a weigh bridge, which can weigh weight of the truck. In that case, what I can do here?
We can increase the resistance so that potential drop decreases.
So it has some purpose. So with this, I can achieve different potential gradient for the same battery. Without changing battery, I can achieve different potential gradient. So that's the purpose of having this resistance, external resistance R. So some of you, most of you understood. Pranav, are you following so far?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Could you
Suddenly I lost your voice. Yes, Pranav, could you repeat what?
sir, could you repeat what happens if E1 is greater than E?
Okay, E1 is greater than. Okay. Let me do that part. Okay, so what I will do now, I will just erase it and let me take a number value. See, sometimes what happens, moment we write even greater than something, if we don't understand better, we put some numbers and start making better sense. Okay, let me put something like this. Let me put some numbers and you try to answer, Pranav. Since you have asked the question, you should try and answer. Okay, let's see what we are going to do now. Let's say this EMF is equal to 10 volts. I have connected 12 volts. In words, how would I mention? I have connected a 12-volt battery of negligible resistance in the primary circuit. Now, have you understood what the statement means? 12-volt battery in the primary circuit with negligible resistance. And this resistance also is 0. And this is equal to 10 volts. Right. So what is the potential difference between A and B, Pranav? If this internal resistance of battery is 0 and external, this resistance also is 0. Resistance of potentiometer is 10 ohms. What is the potential difference between point A and B in this case? Karthikeya, can you tell me what is the potential difference between point A and B? Karthikeya. What is the potential difference between A and B in this kind of setup?
10 volts.
10 volts. So in this case, potential difference will be 10 volts. And let's say L is equal to 10 meters. So Pranav, you tell me the potential difference between here to here is 10 volts. Suppose I connect a battery E1, which is equal to 5 volts. Where would I find the balance point, Karthikeya?
At the midpoint.
Midpoint. And so this is something because see, at midpoint, the potential drop, so total potential drop in length, the potential drop is 10 meter. In length, 2 by 2 potential drop will be equal to 5 volts. And that's where I'll find. What happens, so if it is 10 meter, if E1 is equal to 5 meter, I find the balancing length at 5 meter. What happens if you make it 6 volts? Karthikeya, what will be L1 in that case? I find the balancing length at 6 meter. Does it make sense? The potential gradient is what? Potential gradient is 1 volts per meter. So when I connect a battery of EMF 5 volts, A to J potential drop has to be 5 volts. Potential gradient is 1 volt per meter. Length required is 5 meter. B is equal to 6 volts. Balancing length is 6 meter. Now, are you there now?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, if I have 9 volt battery, what will the balancing length?
9 meters.
9 meters. What happens if I have 12 volt battery?
No balancing point.
Does it make sense?
It's 12 meters, but 12 meters is not possible.
Because total drop here, it itself is 10 volts. Okay, so there's no point between A and B such that potential difference between them will be equal to 12 volts. There's no point J where the potential difference will be equal to 12 volts. In this case, what will happen? No balance point will be formed.
Yes, sir.
Is it understood? Yeah, Ahlad, some question you have?
So what about the internal resistance of E1, sir?
Even I mentioned earlier also, just no current is flowing. What will the potential drop across this? What is it? Zero. Very clear. The current is not flowing through the battery. Is the current flowing through the battery? So what is the potential difference across a resistor when no current is flowing? The potential difference across a resistor when no current is flowing is zero. Same thing I take a galvanometer also. What is potential? See, I am calculating potential drop from A to J along this path. When you go from terminal battery to this terminal, yes, there's a drop of EMF, but what is normally what I have written I dash R. But what is I dash? I dash is zero. What is there any potential drop on account of internal resistance?
No, sir.
Similarly in the galvanometer also, no potential drop. The current is zero. Everyone is understood? Anybody else who has not understood? Anita, are you clear?
Yes.
Kaushik?
Yes, sir.
So, who has not understood so far? Please raise your hand, and no harm in raising your hand. So if you cannot ask, at least raise your hand if you are not understood. Okay, so we'll proceed further, and this is how we find balancing point. Now, does it answer? Why does it make sense? So, yes, Akash, you have some question?
So normally, like in a speaker to control the volume knob, sir, it's called a potentiometer, right? Like, how is that related to this?
No, that is not that's not potentiometer. That's works on a different principle. If you are interested, that is done using something called semiconductors. That comes much later. I think some of the things that we have perhaps
like control the sensitivity and all.
Yeah. We'll come to that part. I think this is, see, many equipments, when you actually take some of the equipments what we use, there are several things at work. It is not something just one principle is applicable. And luckily, the topic of amplifier is a part of the syllabus, is part of semiconductor. Not a very easy topic, but you can understand. And all those circuits, when you look at the circuit, I know my son he used to make amplifier. I've seen. So if you want, I can show you some amplifier circuit. It has too many things. Amplifier circuit is not a simple device. What we understand as we study amplifier later on, we realize that amplification is achieved by increasing the magnitude of current. Okay. Oh, and the current also is variation of current. So that's a not very simple thing, Akash. Don't apply that amplifier concept here. Okay. So this is what is happening, and let's see. We'll come to see. Okay. Let's look at proceed further. Let me solve this question now. Don't ignore this word here. You said there are different types of cell. You said some cell is where this cell connected. Is this in the primary circuit or this in the secondary circuit? It has a null point. So
Secondary.
Secondary circuit. This is your cell. And what is given? Potentiometer wire length is given. Let's put those values. This is given as 4 meters. What else is given? This cell null point is obtained at 1 meter. L1 is given as 1 meter.
That's 1/4 of it.
Which is 1/4 of it.
So for 5 meters also will be 5/4. Like 1/4.
So in this case, what about this is resistance of this battery and this capital R? Whenever nothing is mentioned, assume these are
0.
Okay, and this battery is EMF. So in this case, when the length is 4 meter, how do we solve this question? Pretty simple. We assume there's no resistance in the primary circuit other than potentiometer wire. In many cases, it may be 0. If there's no such initial state, what is value of phi? Or what is the potential gradient? Potential gradient is E by 4. Length is 4. And potential gradient is E by 4. So for balanced state, E1 is equal to phi into L1. So we get E1 is equal to E by 4. What is this E1 equal to? This E1 is 1/4 of the EMF of this in the primary circuit.
So we don't need to assume that R and R is 0, right? R and capital R.
R and capital R actually need to assume it to 0. What will happen if they are not 0? I think that's what the question. What will happen in that case? Okay.
They didn't mention EMF of the cell, right? So you just have to assume there is some potential drop across the wire, and that is that will change when you increase the length.
See, if we do not assume this resistance and this resistance to be 0, okay, what will happen when I change this wire to 5 meter? This resistance will change, the potential drop also will change. Okay, let's see that one. What happened when you increase the length? When you increase the length, what is the still it is, I'm still assuming, I'll redo the question assuming R not to be 0. In this case, what is the, when you increase the length, what is the potential gradient? Potential drop is still E. By 5 becomes the potential gradient. So if a new balancing length, what is the position of null point? L2 is null point. So E1 it has to be equal to what? 5 dash into L2. E1 is equal to E by 4 is equal to E by 5 into L2. So L2 is equal to 1.5, 1.25 meters. Now let me see, assume if capital R is not equal to 0, what will happen?
So that time resistance and current flowing also will change, right, sir?
Correct. So in that case, can we solve this question? We cannot solve.
Sir, why will the resistance change?
If we see, otherwise, what I have to assume, if R is not 0, this question can be solved if I assume that resistance of potentiometer wire, this remains same. I am changing the length from 4 meter to 5 meter without changing its resistance.
That's what you're
Again,
assuming.
what will happen? Potential drop will remain same.
Sir, RP, whatever is given, it's resistance of the potentiometer. So you increase the length, decrease the length, it shouldn't be changing.
It should not be changing.
Like in this case, sir, at
It
least.
should change, right, sir?
It will change. So
It should
basically,
change, that's
this
what.
question, I think we are going a little more complex case. But if it is same material wire, typically what I assume, suppose I take a particular wire, if I have 4 meter of wire, same material, same wire, if I change length to 5 meter, I assume the resistance also will become 5 by 4 times. Is it not? If you, that is one in terms of equation. Can some of you think in terms of intuitively what is happening? Intuitively, what I feel, this is length is 4 meter. So potential of the EMF of this battery gets distributed over length of 4 meter. If balancing point is 1 meter, it means EMF of this battery is 1/4. Okay. So whatever length I have here, balancing length will always come 1/4 of that length if these two resistances are 0. Diksha, have you followed what I said?
Yes, sir.
Easy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what, and this
Sir?
question you can check it again unless those resistances are assumed to be 0. So whenever nothing else is mentioned here, what we understood, one more point, what we have to note here, when nothing is mentioned, this is an assumption we need to make. If nothing is mentioned about internal resistance and anything else connected, what is the assumption we start with? We start with this is 0 and this is 0. Are you clear? Okay. It can also be used to compare the EMF of two batteries. Let's see what does it mean. Okay, how to compare EMF of the two batteries? So in this case, let's the second application. Again, similar to the previous case, the positive terminal of the first battery of EMF E1 is connected to end A of the potentiometer wire. And so both primary circuit battery positive terminal and secondary circuit battery positive terminal should be connected to the same point and through a jockey. And again, what we do, we find a balancing point. And since balancing point, current is not changing, the value of phi, E1 is equal to phi L1 as we had done in the previous case. So when we have to compare EMF of the two batteries, what we do, we remove this battery, connect the second battery. Again, for the second battery, find the balancing length. In both the cases, since the primary circuit is not changing, value of phi or potential gradient is not changing. So in that case, again, if I write E2, E2 will be equal to phi into L2.
You can divide these.
And hence, what is the ratio of the EMF of the two batteries? E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. So that's why if one of the battery, if EMF is known, even if we do not know EMF of this battery, even if we don't know the resistance of the potentiometer wire, if I have two batteries, one battery is known EMF, other battery is unknown EMF, using this method, I can find the EMF of the battery without knowing the potential gradient. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Amita? Yes, no. First step. Are you there? Yes or no? Attendance. Amita? Anirudh?
Yes, sir.
Anirudh, which Anirudh? Anirudh Soma. Yes. Are you following so far?
Yes, sir.
There's one more Anirudh, Anirudh J or something. No, Anirudh, other Anirudh?
Yes, sir.
Following?
Yes, sir.
Potential gradient and all. It is primary circuit, secondary circuit. Important point is to understand when we obtain a balancing point, these two lead wires through which primary circuit and secondary circuit connected, these two have zero current. If they have zero current, means potential difference between A and J is equal to potential difference between these 2 points. That's an important point we need to make use of. And so we have done comparison. It measures EMF without drawing current from the battery. Okay. And sometimes the same circuit can be, just look at the previous case and this case. So this arrangement, what he has shown, I have drawn 2 circuits here. Sometimes those 2 circuits can be combined into one. How it is combined using one? Using a 2A key. See, do you notice this 2 state, the previous circuit and this circuit are similar? So when I want to connect first battery into the circuit, I connect this 2A key like this. When I shift the key from position 1 to 2, it is equivalent to connecting the second battery in the circuit. So using a 2A key, rather than I drawing 2 circuit, I can draw 1 circuit. And when it is connected like one, E1 is connected to the secondary circuit. When it is switched like this, second battery is connected to the circuit. Let's try and solve this question. So all question, again, keep in mind for particular setup, this remains particular unless it is mentioned, this is kept as constant. And this, as long as this remains constant, the current in the primary circuit and balance state remains constant. Okay. Let's try and solve this question. We have battery A.
So over here, E1 is battery A and E2 is the 1 volt battery, right?
Yes.
They didn't
So
mention.
wordings are like this. So sometimes they give wording like this. So what you have to assume, this is the first battery. First battery is balanced at 80 centimeter. And second battery of known EMF is balanced at 50 centimeter. That's what wordings are. See, it's so even if wordings are not clear, I think we can understand 2 different batteries are being balanced on a potentiometer wire. So if we understand that part, calculation is very simple. Again, E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. And if I take the first one, so E1, E2 is 1 volt is equal to corresponding balancing length, L1 is 50 centimeter by 50 centimeter. So E1 is equal to 1.6 volts. Extremely simple question on finding EMF of battery. Let's try and solve this. I think maybe last one before the class. All of you try and solve this question. So those who solve, please raise your hand and then see how many are able to solve it. Allah, do you have an answer?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. Just have you properly understood?
Yes, sir.
Anvita, is it clear or just guessing?
No, I got it.
Okay. See, first of all, if whatever you had done, those who are okay. Okay, let me ask some of you. Actually, this question also is similar to E1 and E2, two batteries being connected.
Yes, sir.
It's similar to E1 and E2 setup. So for E1, you have some balancing length, which is L, and for E2 also has some balancing length, L by 3. And internal resistance doesn't matter. Another point what you have to keep in mind, R doesn't matter. Doesn't affect balancing length. So even if this batteries had internal resistance, that will not come into picture.
Yes, sir.
So what is
Doesn't matter.
even? Even is, see, there are 6 cells, we can replace them as equivalent battery. Each one of them EMF, it will equal to 6E. If some cells are connected wrongly, let's say how many cells are connected wrongly? Let's say internal resistance, first point, yeah, I hope all of you understood, internal resistance does not affect the balancing length. That's the first point. Okay. Okay. So one is E1 by E2. You have to understand what is E1. E1 is equal to 6E. What is E2 equal? If I reverse X of them, how many are in the reverse polarity? X. How many in the right polarity? 6 minus X into E minus X into E. It becomes 6 minus 2X into E. I hope I had discussed earlier also in case of equivalent battery. So this is E2. And when we substitute E1 and E2, we solve for X, we get X is equal to 2, which is very easy. Earlier it is equal to 6E. It has become equal to, if length has become 1/3, it is equivalent EMF is 2E. How would 6 batteries give an equivalent EMF of 2E? 4 are connected in the forward bias and 2 are connected in the reverse bias. So how many batteries are wrongly connected? 2 batteries are wrongly connected. So, okay, everyone has understood? Ajal, have you followed? Anish? Anish?
Yes, sir.
Kevin?
Yes, sir. I got the answer.
You got the answer. So all are clear. Okay, good. Khyati?
Yes, sir.
Suppose I change it to 8 here. Khyati, try and answer. Have you understood this question, Khyati?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll make slight change the question. I make it, this is 8, and let me change it to L by 4. Can you give me the value of what should the answer in that case now? Is this possible? Not possible, first of all. How many cells are wrongly connected in this case?
So we can't get a combination.
And we can't get the combination? Is it possible? Not possible. Ati, what does it mean? If what does it mean if 8 cells are connected? 8 cells are properly connected, I have 80.
Sir, 5 and 3 is possible, right?
Yes. So what has to be, it has become equal to 2E. How do I get 2E from 8 batteries? With plus minus combination. Okay. So if 5, can I get 2E 5E minus 3? So 5 are in the forward bias, 3 are in the reverse direction. Ashray?
Yes, sir. Now I understood, sir.
Now I understood. So this is something we can do step by step, and we can. Khyati, have you followed this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can do in our mind as well. Okay. So, so I'll stop here, and if you understood, this is the. Abhirup, you have any question?
Sir, can you go to the potentiometer principle slide?
Okay. And anyway, so what we'll do today, all of you go through, I'll send these files also. We have a doubt session as well. So again, when we meet up the evening session, again, if there's any doubt, we'll go through and we'll do some additional questions on that. Potentiometer principle. Yes, this one. Yes.
So the paragraph which says the principle of potentiometer. When a constant current is passed through a wire, this side, right, sir? What do they mean by constant current? Like you pass any
current
current?
should not change. That's what constant mean. Current is steady. See, actually, this is more of what does constant current mean? See, this means in this it implies it's not changing with time. So in this all cases, what we have done, all cases we have connected first battery and second battery, E1 and E2. Why we have taken 5 to be constant?
Because current is constant.
That's to be constant.
In the final state, it should be constant, right, sir?
Yes.
Sir,
It
but
becomes
the-
balanced state. So in between what is happening, we are ignoring. We are only looking at which state when it has come to balanced state. So why are we taking 5 to be constant? Because the current in the primary circuit remains unchanged. That's a key point here. So
Sir,
current in
but
the primary circuit changes, is of course 5 will change.
sir, if you take some current I1 at first,
Mhm.
the potential drop will be proportional to the length.
Mhm.
And if you take I2, even then it will be proportional to length.
See, this is the okay. Is this wording great? This is not a great wording. This is something. That's why this is IP wording. I don't see this. Yeah, this is not a very great wording. But what it says, see, there is no word of constant. Actually, when a current is passed, any wire, if you have a uniform wire, if we pass through current, okay. So any potential drop, actually no current, but this is something. All is necessary. It has to be steady current. So maybe better definition. In that case, if current is flowing in a state, then potential difference is directly proportional to length. That's enough uniform wire. And that's what we use. I think why they use this word constant here, so that some people get mistaken. We have done E1 and E2. Why are we taking the same value of 5? We take same value of 5 because current is same. That's what constant current implies. Okay.
Sir, so whatever current is flowing before connecting the secondary circuit is the same as in the final state.
Yes. And when we are comparing these two batteries also, we are writing same 5. E1 is equal to 5L1 and E2 is equal to 5L2. Why same 5? Primary circuit current has not changed in both setups. Okay, comparing this EMF of battery. See, when we compare this EMF, both cases, this also I write 5L1, and this case also I write 5. But if current here is I, is this current here are same or different here?
It will be same because there is no current passing through secondary circuit.
Only thing, so it is implied that we are not disturbing any of the setup. Whatever we do only this here. And as long as, see, if between intermediate states, suppose that this was kept here, the time when the current was flowing. When the current is flowing here, will this current still be I? That time the current will not be I. So in between the state, when it is not balanced, when you are moving around the jockey,
Current is
current also
entering
will change.
the battery
But
also.
the moment we reach a balanced state, this current also will come back to the same original value which was there initially. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll end session here.
Sir,
Again,
and,
catch up with yes.
Sir, for the infinite grid question,
Huh.
to find the resistance between any 2 points, if it's a square grid, then
Yeah,
you can.
I will do that. Maybe I will do in the today work session today. We
Okay.
have the
Like
work
I
session.
solved it yesterday, so I just wanted to ask.
No, actually, well, that's how did you solve it? Okay, I'll see that in the
Okay.
work session today.
Yes, sir.
I guess you did okay. We'll see how did you solve. Okay. Okay, then we'll see you all in the evening.
Thank you, sir.
Work session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.